All right, let's jump right into this explainer. The title translates to A Cat Saved a Boy's Life. And honestly, it's one of those beautifully heartwarming stories that really teaches us the true value of compassion. Today, we're looking at a narrative that might initially sound a bit like a fable, but it actually carries a deeply profound lesson about the bond between humans and animals. It's a story that proves, without a doubt, that even the smallest, seemingly most helpless creatures can become absolute heroes when it matters most. So I want to pose a question to you right off the bat. Can a tiny little cat actually save a human being's life? Usually, we think of humans as the protectors, right? We're the ones who rescue animals from trees or pull them off a busy street. But what happens when the tables are completely turned? Well, this explainer sets the stage for a really remarkable series of events that answers that exact question with a resounding yes. To really get how this all unfolds, we first need to meet our main characters. Take 8-year-old Ahmad, for example. He lived with his mom in this incredibly beautiful, peaceful neighborhood. But what really defined Ahmad was his pure, innocent nature. I mean, he was just a kind-hearted kid who treated every single living creature with unbelievable mercy and affection. He shared a particularly deep bond with a little white and orange cat that he'd named Mino. Every single day, Ahmad made it his absolute mission to feed Mino, play with her, and just make sure she was totally cared for. They were pretty much inseparable. But one morning, that comforting routine is just completely shattered. Ahmad wakes up, calls out for his beloved cat, and is met with total silence. Mino is literally nowhere to be seen. He searches the entire house, he checks the courtyard, he even goes out into the street. Nothing. You can really feel the concern setting in as he calls out saying, "Mino, where are you? Come back, I miss you so much." He's sad, naturally, but he's holding on to that innocent childhood hope that she'll just wander back home eventually. As evening rolls around, though, the situation starts to escalate. Ahmad is out playing in the street when, suddenly, he hears it. A really faint, distant sound. It's Minot. He immediately follows those distant cries, walking further and further away from his usual play area. And the sound leads him to a highly precarious spot. We're talking about a deep, terrifying pit situated right next to an old, dangerous, ruined building. And there she is. He spots Minot trapped on the complete opposite side of this intimidating gap. Without even a second thought, his instinct to protect just kicks in, and he steps right forward to rescue her. Now, what's genuinely crazy about this moment is the sudden role reversal. As Ahmad rushes forward, disaster strikes. The ground beneath his feet is super unstable, and it suddenly just crumbles. Ahmad's foot slips and he tumbles down, landing precariously right at the very edge of this deep, dangerous pit. He is completely trapped. In the blink of an eye, the young boy who rushed in to be the savior instantly turns into the one who desperately needs to be saved. He's stuck in a major hazard, far away from the safety of his home. And then, just two simple sounds, but man, they carry absolute panic. Meow, meow. Minot is watching Ahmad's terrifying fall right in front of her. She sees the boy who feeds her, who plays with her, who loves her, suddenly in grave danger. And she doesn't just sit there. She starts crying out at the absolute top of her lungs, letting out this urgent, frantic plea for help that echoes all around the abandoned building. Walking through the sequence of events here brilliantly illustrates Matano's frantic state. It's exactly what a cat in full-blown panic mode does. First, she completely abandons her spot and sprints straight toward the neighborhood. Then, she finds a house, stops at a closed door, and starts wailing, trying to get someone, anyone at all, to come out. When no one appears, she actually sprints all the way back to the pit to check on Ahmad. Realizing he's still trapped, she turns right back around and runs toward the people again. She is desperately pacing back and forth, acting as a literal alarm bell, trying with all her might to alert the humans that something is terribly wrong. So the real turning point is when someone finally pays attention. An older gentleman from the neighborhood notices this cat darting back and forth, wailing in distress. He stops and says, "Why is this cat so distressed? It seems she wants to take us somewhere." And instead of just ignoring him, which would have been so easy to do, he actually trusts his instincts and the cat's behavior, and decides to follow Minot, as she leads him straight back toward the old building. And from there, the rescue effort just kicks into high gear. First, the elder arrives at the ruins, looks down, and is totally shocked to see young Ahmad trapped right at the edge of the pit. He immediately shouts out for help. The community swiftly comes together as neighbors hear the shouts and rush over as a team, bringing a heavy rope with them. Working together, they lower the rope down to the terrified boy and carefully, slowly, pull him all the way up to safety.
Once he's safe, the emotion of the whole situation comes right back down to this incredibly warm, beautiful level. Ahmad is understandably shaken up and terrified, but the very first thing he does when his feet hit solid ground is pull Mino right into his chest. He hugs her tightly and says, "Mino, you called everyone to help me. You saved my life." And in return, Mino affectionately rubs her little head against his hand. It's just this profound moment of mutual gratitude.
Pretty soon after that, word actually reaches Ahmad's mother, and she rushes straight to the scene. You can imagine the sheer relief washing over her as she wraps her arms around her son. She expresses her immense gratitude to God that her boy is safe. But she also acknowledges the incredible role this tiny animal played. Ahmad looks at his mom and promises that, from that day forward, he's going to take even better care of Meadow. And this really brings us to the beautiful reciprocity of the whole story. It highlights a core lesson here. Animals are God's creation, and they absolutely deserve our compassion. Because Ahmad always treated animals with mercy, because he fed Meno, cared for her, and loved her, that exact same mercy was returned to him when he needed it most. He was there for her in the past, and she absolutely refused to leave him alone in his darkest, most frightening moment. Which brings us to our conclusion and this really powerful moral message. Show mercy to animals, for God shows mercy to those who are merciful. It's a pretty profound thought, right? It leaves us with a lot to think about regarding how we interact with the vulnerable creatures in our own neighborhoods. Are we showing them the compassion they actually deserve? I really hope this story inspired you to think about that. If you found this explainer as heartwarming and thought-provoking as I did, please make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share this story with your friends so they can learn a little something from Ahmed and Meno too.